In this video, we're going to be showing you how to create a beautiful zoom out transition. In the previous tutorial that I went over, we went over a zoom in transition, and we're just going to be kind of reverse engineering the process and creating a zoom out transition. So again, I've taken this tutorial from Justin Odisho. He has a great YouTube tutorial on this that I've watched many times, I've worked with, used in many projects, and so I want to show everyone that's watching this channel the process that he outlines. So if you haven't already subscribed to his channel, go ahead and do that. And if you're watching this tutorial, this is going to be a great zoom out effect. All right, so the first step, just as in the previous video, is we want to create an adjustment layer. All right, instead of adding the effects to the clips directly, we're going to be placing an adjustment layer over both of them. All right, you can press new item at the bottom here, or you can come up to file, new, and click on adjustment layer. We're dragging that over both of our clips, making sure that we have about 5 to 8 frames in both directions from our clip. Okay, so once we've dragged the first adjustment layer, we're going to copy this and pressing Alt, dragging up, creating a second adjustment layer. And what we want to do now is we're just going to drag this bottom one, so that it only hovers over the first clip. Okay, so we got 2 adjustment layers, 2 over the first clip, and the second one is extended into the second clip because we're going to be zooming out of this first clip. So we're going to need to apply some effects to the bottom adjustment layer. All right, so we're going to come over to our effects tab, and we're going to search for a first effect called replicate. It should be under stylize. We're going to drag that over the first adjustment layer, come into our effects control panel. If you don't see that, you can come up to window, click on effects controls, and we're going to be changing the count to 3. All right, once we've done that, we're going to need to search for our mirror effect, and we're going to be dragging the mirror effect over that same bottom adjustment layer. And the first reflection angle that we want to do, the goal is to get rid of all these lines. So the first reflection angle we can keep at 0, and we're just going to be moving our reflection point until we get rid of that first line. If you want a number, that's 1277 in my timeline. It might be slightly different for you. We're going to do this for all the lines. So I'm dragging another reflection or another mirror over my adjustment layer, the bottom adjustment layer. I'm going to set this one to 90, and I'm going to be dragging this guy up again until I get rid of that line. My number here is 718. And I'm going to do this a third time. I'm going to drag my adjustment layer, this time setting my mirror to -90. I'm going to move it up till I get rid of that line. Boom, my number is 362. And then one more, we're going to drag the mirror on. This time the reflection angle is set at 180. And we are dragging that final reflection point over to get rid of our final line. All right, you guys, we are almost done. We're going to have to add a transform effect onto the top adjustment layer. So we're coming and searching for our Mr. Transform. We're going to take the transform under distort, drag it over the top layer. And again, we want to make sure we select uniform scale here so that we're just messing with one of our scale icons. And let's go ahead and set this transition. So I wanted to set it for 5 frames. So I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. And then on my adjustment layer here, I'm going to go ahead and set a scale, toggle animation. And I'm going to uncheck this use compositions shutter angle, and I'm going to bump the shutter angle up to about 300, between 300 and 360. And since we are going to be zooming out, I want to zoom in on this clip up to 300. All right, so I'm going to set the first initial scale to 300, and then I'm going to come to my midline. I'm going to come 5 frames forward, and I'm going to be setting my scale to not 0, 100 actually, and that's going to give me a full frame of that next clip. All right, but we can make it a little better, a little smoother by coming into our scale effects and taking a look at our points here, and we can right click and press ease in to our end point, and we can right click on our keyframe, our first keyframe, and we can click ease out. All right, and then we can also come in and you can change the the animation a little bit if you'd like. You can change the velocity of it, slow it down, speed it up. I'm going to watch this first. That looks pretty smooth in my eye. All right, so that is going to be a smooth in to out or out to in transition. If you want to zoom out, again, in the first we covered how to zoom in, and in this video we covered how to zoom back out from one clip to the other. So add those 2 skills to your arsenal and see if you can implement them in your next editing project.